Now, Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon.
Welcome to this episode of Rock Talk with Mitch Lafon. Joining me on the phone all the way from Germany. This time it is Doro. We love having Doro on. In fact, Sir Alan, bonjour, Monsieur Alain. How are you again today?
I'm fine.
Yes. This is our second time with Doro.
Yeah, this is our second time with Doro.
In the last 6 months.
And I'm trying to make the most of deciding what constitutes a holiday anymore. Is it just one more day in the COVID box? But, you know, pleasant holiday, minimal drama. I like that.
It's one of those things. I can't differentiate anymore. It's all the same. I know that when we used to have Christmas and I used to have like 2 weeks off, I would sit at home and do absolutely nothing for 2 weeks and look forward to it. But now I haven't taken any time off, and I'm doing the exact same thing I've done for since March. So I get up and I go to the computer and I do a show. So it's just, it doesn't end, but that's okay. Speaking of show, Doro, now last time she was doing the, what do you call them? Not the parking lot concerts, the drive-in concerts is what we call them. And we talked about that. And of course, she's got a whole bunch of new stuff that she's talking about in this interview. But in the meantime, and I've said this for the last 87 episodes, I've gone down the Michael Schenker rabbit hole, which includes UFO and so on and so forth. And her drummer, Johnny Dee, who I've always known as Johnny Dee from Britny Fox, actually is Johnny Dee from Waysted, which had, of course, Paul Chapman and Pete Way of UFO in the band. He was their drummer on the Waysted Save Your Prayers album, which came out a couple of years before Britny Fox's first album. So that was an interesting revelation because, how can I put this? It's 2020, or it's 2021 now, but it's 2020, and it's the first time I actually figured that out, that Johnny, he was using his full name, Johnny Dee or whatever, was the drummer for Waysted. Were you a fan of that band? And then I'll tell you the Canadian perspective, but did you like Waysted? Were they a cool follow-up for UFO, or were they just an embarrassing offshoot?
I wouldn't say an embarrassing offshoot, but what I would say is that I think still to this day that UFO made a sublime rock and roll record of great taste and playing, and you know, listening to that album today sounds as good as it was in the years. So I didn't anticipate or expect Waysted to rise to that level. And of course, you know, the name Waysted, I mean, you know, how many times do I have to look at one of my singers, and I'm sure that you know the one I'm thinking about, and just give him a hairy eyeball, and he'd look back at me and go, "Wasted, dude."
Yeah, well, you know, it was an interesting band, and I didn't really know the band. Now, they have this album that came out that Johnny played on, like I said, Save Your Prayers, that had Danny Vaughan of Tyketto and Vaughan singing on it, and it brought the band more into that sort of cotton candy kind of flavor rather than what they had. I think the guy's name before that was Finn, if I'm not mistaken. Was that his name? I think so. It was an interesting change, but you know, in Canada, with all the Canadian content rules, we never really got a lot of Waysted and Britny Fox and all these bands on our TV, because whenever we got through the Def Leppards and the Bon Jovis and the Madonnas and U2s, our stations would throw Honeymoon Suite and Platinum Blonde and Gowan and all Luba and all these other bands at us. So a lot of these sort of second tier or third tier bands, I never got to know. But here we are with Waysted, a great band. Speaking of a band with a new singer, I picked up, and you're going to love this, I picked up the Great White Live album from 2020. It is a CD DVD set. It is an entire concert from Kentucky, which is 10 songs. And it's got Mitch Malloy singing on it. And I have to say, it's okay. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's okay, you know. Mark Kendall, man, you hear his guitar playing and you sort of forget the rest. And I mean that in a constructive way, not in a bitchy way. But you hear Mark play and you just go, the world's okay. You know.
Mitch Malloy, all we need is just more mediocre karaoke. I'm sorry, I can't buy into it. I don't connect to it. You've got to remember that they're performing songs that I'm the co-writer on them, and he does not have the presence or the voice or the chops of the person I was writing with and for. So, no, I'm not going to go to Amazon and buy it.
Well,
quite frankly, I could give a damn.
Yeah, it's not available anywhere except on their website. And you know what? All our discussions about the bands over the years, I think is probably why Mark and Audi and the band have blocked me on Twitter, because we used to be great friends, and then we started talking about them with Mitch, and suddenly I got banned by all of them. So, oops. But listen,
the truth always hurts.
I know. I mean, I wanted to sit here and say that it was the worst thing I've ever heard. It's not. It's not Great White, and it's not Jack. I mean, there's nobody's like Jack, but it's okay. If you want a number on 10, like 5, 6, it's competent. Let's call it that. It's competent. We'll leave it at that. Now they'll block me on Facebook too. Oh my Lord! Apologies to all the great. Yeah, apologies to all the Great White fans. Let us get over to somebody we love, the one and only. Here is Doro. We are speaking with the one and only Doro. The new deluxe edition box set package is called Magic Diamonds: Best of Rock, Ballads, and Rare Treasures. And I have to say, the package looks phenomenal. I'm actually on Amazon.com looking at the package and at the track listing. I mean, 3 CDs. The first one is the Best of Rock, then the Best of Ballads, and then, of course, the rarities. Before we get started, as we say in Montreal, bonjour, of course. Welcome. How are you?
Very good, very good. Nice to talk to you again.
Yes, the last time we spoke about the drive-in shows. In fact, let me just quickly ask you about that. You did the drive-in shows this summer with COVID. Yeah. I think one of them had to be postponed or pushed back. But overall, looking back, how was the experience for you? Was it weird with people honking at you instead of clapping? Was it strange to not see faces, or was it like, hey, best of a bad situation?
Mitch, I tell you, everything and anything is better than doing nothing. So we were all really happy. Like, it was a different vibe. It was a totally new animal, but it was great fun. I think the fans had fun. We had something to do. We were really happy that we could do it. And from each and every show, we learned so much more. So I think I'm in better shape than ever, because it was so demanding on the body. You had to jump around like 10 times more, because you have to make up for the distance, or for everything when people have to sit in their cars. So it was great. It was great. And we had so many more phone calls of people who said, yeah, we own a drive-in thing. You guys want to play? We said, yes. So we did some streaming. Some streams were for free. Some streams were for the Wacken worldwide. So many things, came up, and it was a great challenge. It looked always like the All We Are video. It was so funny. We hopped on stage, and then, you seen only cars, and sometimes here and there somebody crawled out of the car. But every show was different. Sometimes regulations were very strict, and sometimes they weren't so strict. So I could go into the audience with a mask on. So that was the first time for me singing with a mask on. But it worked. No problem. I think people could hear me. It was great. It was great. But it's not like a normal show. So it's not like a normal festival. But it was great. I would definitely want to do it again. We hope that everything gets back to normal next year. But if not, I'm totally up for more challenges and adventures. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard one because I know one of the European bands that I really love, Gothard. They've already
Hmm.
canceled all their January 2021 dates, and it's like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
here we go again.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like, uh-oh. I mean, I know in Quebec, where I am in Montreal, we're in a
Yeah.
red zone. Everything is going off the charts again. Where you are in Europe, and I'm assuming in Germany, are you
Yeah.
getting a sense of it's coming back? Like, do you think there will be a whack in next year, or is it like hopeful thinking?
Man, man, we all hope for the best, but I don't know. Like we started, yeah, actually, we postponed everything for April next year, and that doesn't look so good. And now I'm actually stuck in Germany, and we have a lockdown. Today is the first day of a total lockdown, and that's the second lockdown. Nobody would, even think of like that it would come back in April. We had a lockdown, but now it's the second one. It's really strict, and all the other countries they're closed, so I cannot even see my band. Like Luca, he's in Italy, Nick in America, Bas and Harry in the Netherlands. The only one I could see is actually Johnny. He lives a couple of hours from me, and I'm stuck in Germany right now. So I don't know. I hope for the best, but it doesn't look so good. And yeah, the numbers are so high. A couple of weeks ago, it was all pretty good, and now last 4 weeks, it's astronomical. And yeah, so we hope,
It's
but
going in
I
the
don't
wrong
know, man.
direction. And by the way, we
Yo,
got to talk about Johnny real quick.
yes,
I never really paid attention to the fact that he was the drummer in Waysted for a little bit. I always knew him as Brittany
yes,
Fox, and I have been going down the Waysted rabbit hole these days. That stuff is spectacular. So you've got a
yes,
true
yes.
superstar in your band right there.
Yeah, totally, Mitch. And Johnny, he's the coolest guy. He's a phenomenal drummer. He's the sweetest person. He's a lot of fun. He has the best sense of humor. Sometimes we are on the floor laughing because he's great. He's a great guy and very, very understanding. He has a very nice way and like dealing with people. So sometimes he's our tour manager when we toured in the States or Canada, and he drove even the bus. So he was like, yeah, he did everything: tour managing, playing,
Playing. I know. Yeah.
driving.
I think the next time you play in North America, it should say Doro featuring Johnny Dee of Wasted. That should be the new band
Yes,
title.
oh,
But
that would make him happy.
oh, it would make him thrilled. But let's get into the CD here. This triple package. First of all, just an incredible package. CD1, of course, is the rock stuff. You have a lot of collaborations on there, including Pete Steele,
Yeah,
including
yeah.
Slash, including Udo. Talk to me.
Lemmy.
Lemmy's on, yes, of course. Talk to me about some of these collaborations, and were they just sort of always organic, where you were just hanging out with Pete or hanging out with Slash and say, hey, you know, it'd be really cool? Or is it some of these where, the whole management team has to get involved and management has to talk to the other man? Like because I always see you as just having sort of buddies and they show up and,
Yes.
how is it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, my very first collaboration was with my best friend. I miss him every day. It was with Lemmy, and actually, I was going through my record collection. You know, I'm a big vinyl lover like you too, and I was reading through my vinyl collection, and then I thought, oh, let me check out the Motorhead album. It was No Sleep at All, and I pulled it up, and then there was a little picture of Lemmy and me inside, black and white. And the picture was taken in 1986 when we played in Castle Donington, England, the legendary Monsters of Rock Festival. And I was really quite nervous. And then Lemmy came up. He said, "Are you nervous?" And I said, "Oh, a little bit. There are 80,000 people there." And it was like a little bit overwhelming. And then he gave me a hug, a little kiss on my head. He said, "Doro, okay, knock him dead, you kill him, do good." And I felt like $1,000,000. And then I hopped on stage and I really felt, Lemmy's supporting energy. It was so cool. So that was in 86. And then we always stayed friends. And we went on tour together, played many festivals, played in Wacken. Yeah. And then I wrote him a letter in 2000 and I said, "Hey, Lemmy, we're now label mates." We were on the same label. It was SPV at the time. It was in 2000. And then he called me back and he said, Doro, I got your letter. Let's do something. And, and then I flew to LA and we did two songs together, Alone Again, which was an acoustic guitar song. Lemmy played great guitar. Nobody really knows that, but he was great. And then I said, oh, shall we do Love Me Forever as well? An old Motorhead classic. Said, yes, let's do it. And then we went into the studio of Bob Kulick, who actually died a couple of months ago. We were
Yeah.
friends too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh,
always.
Bob
And
was
yeah,
incredible.
God,
For
yeah,
before he died,
yeah.
he would phone me every night at 11 p.m. for probably the last 4 or 5 months, and
Oh,
an incredible loss to anyway. But
yes. The sweetest guy and a phenomenal guitar player. What a great guitar
yes.
player, no?
Let me ask you this
Yeah,
quickly about Lemmy and Motorhead, because on November 8th, 1980, so 40 years ago, Ace of Spades came out, and I just interviewed Phil and I just
yes.
interviewed Mickey. What did that album mean for you? Because you're in the scene, there's Warlock, there's this, there's all kinds of stuff. And as a fan and as a person, you hear Ace of Spades for the first time. What was that moment like where you just went, wow, okay, that's a game changer?
Totally. I had my first band. It wasn't Warlock. It was called Snakebite. It was 1980. I even seen that on TV. They were on a big TV show, and they were all like very conservative people standing around. It was live, and man, it was mind blowing, and I loved it. I loved every song on the Ace of Spades album, and Lemmy, and of course Phil. I've never met Fast Eddie Clark, but I loved him, and Filthy Animal Taylor. And it was definitely a game changer, and I was heavily inspired by that Motorhead lineup. Yeah, and then meeting Lemmy a little, I think 3 years later, that was awesome. But yeah, Ace of Spades was great, and I just had the great chance to do a song of the Ace of Spades album on the album of Dave Ellefson, and we covered Love Me Like a Reptile, and many great musicians are playing on there, and Tom Hazard is singing, I'm singing, and Love Me Like a Reptile, that was my second favorite song. So that was like, yeah, we had no idea that it all was connected. But then when I heard Ace of Spades 40th anniversary, I thought, yeah, man, how cool is that? We just covered Love Me Like a Reptile, the second song on the Ace of Spades album.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I loved that album. Oh God. And Ace of Spades, it's my favorite song. I guess my favorite song of all times. It's like, wow, yeah.
Have you ever covered Ace of Spades? I don't remember. I don't think so. Have you?
No, but Love Me Like a Reptile. That's the second
But
song
that's
on
but
the
that
Ace
one
of
you've
Spades
done.
album. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that one I've done now on this album. It's called No Cover of Dave Ellefson's album, the bass player of Megadeth. He just put out an album. I don't know if you've seen it, but
yeah.
it's great.
It's called No Cover, I believe. Yeah.
Yes, No Cover. And I sing on Love Me Like a Reptile and Sheer Heart Attack from Queen,
Queen.
and many great musicians were like playing on it, singing on it. It was such a joy. But
And they've been
yeah, but
out.
Ace
They've
of
been out
Spades.
doing shows recently. Actually, I saw that a couple of weeks
Oh,
ago. They were out doing a show somewhere, like in the middle of Iowa or something. It's like, oh, here we go.
wow.
That,
Wow, whatever's possible, no, in this day and age. Yeah.
uh, yeah, and I want to get off the whole COVID thing and talk about the album, but it's a strange period because a lot of the bands that will play bars may not have any place to play because they're saying that 8 out of 10 bars are going to close, and
Yeah.
then the more popular bands that play arenas or stadiums, your Guns N' Roses and your Kiss and your Judas, they might have no place to play because a lot of the governments might
Yeah.
say you're not having 18,000 people in a building. That's not. So it's like, well, who gets to play and where? So it's the
Yeah.
smaller bands won't have a place to play, and the bigger bands won't be allowed to play. So it's like, wow, what do we do?
Absolutely. Yeah, we just got our last show canceled. It was actually in December in Cologne. It's a big arena, 22,000 people fit in that arena, and the government said, okay, maximum 250 people can go in. And today they said a total lockdown. So it's like, it's impossible. I tell you, I think it's really rough for everybody, for fans and crew and, all these technicians. It's like, it's a nightmare. And we
It
thought
is.
it would be over soon, but yeah, man,
Listen, in
it's
March, when
stretching out.
in March they shut down Quebec. They said, "Oh, we're shutting down Quebec for 2 weeks," and we went, "Oh, okay, we're on vacation for 2 weeks."
Right, right.
And here we are, 6 months later, and we're still talking. It's just like, oh, what
Yeah.
happened to 2 weeks? What?
Yes, yes, yes.
It's but
Yeah.
so let me stay on this for a second. What does that mean for you in terms of streaming? I mean, I know you've done it. You've done some that are paid. You've done some that are free. You've done the drive and stuff. We talked about that. Do you see that as a viable model for you moving? Like, could you in 2020 or 2021 just stay in Germany and have one streamed concert a month and be able to survive as an artist? Or at some point you say, oh crap, I got to think of doing something like where's that
Yeah.
fine line?
Mitch, I don't think so. I don't think so, because even if we want to stream something, but the whole band is all over the world, and if you can't fly and if you can't, can get together, that's hard. We are doing one thing for a radio station. It's a big radio station in Germany. They call it Rock Antenna. I have a show there once a month, and they want to do a streaming show. So everybody's now recording Johnny at his home, like Bas and Luca and Nick. They are all recording at home, and I go into a studio where I always like to work. So we are doing it like that, but then we all get together. I guess it's impossible for now, and I like that streaming stuff, but yeah,
Yeah, I know. I
it's
know. It's
not
difficult.
not
Like,
forever.
Gothard did a stream way at the beginning in March or whatever, and the whole band was there, and it made sense. But when you're like your band with one guy in whatever Pennsylvania and one in
Yep,
it's
yep,
it's difficult. Like Ricky Warwick of the Almighty and Black Star
yeah,
Riders, he does
yeah.
a solo acoustic thing every month, and it's great. But it's a
That's
solo acoustic thing. It's
yeah.
unless Doro does solo acoustic, it's difficult.
Yeah,
So
and then I don't have the guys involved, which I'm always, I'm a team player. I could do something with acoustic guitar, but then the whole band, they have nothing to do, and I want to try that we all stay together, that we will all survive together. So that's not really
yeah,
an option. Once in a while, maybe for a little thing,
but
but
yeah,
yeah, but
anyway, it's gonna have to change. So let's get back to this album here. So
yes,
the
yes,
Magic Diamonds, Best of Rock Ballads and Rare Treasures. When I think Doro, I always think high energy show. I've seen you a bunch of times. It's always moving around. There's action going on. I always think of hard rock. I think of big guitar solos. I think of Nick and Johnny, of course, the drummer from Waysted. But how do you sort of see yourself? Because there is a balance of rock side, and you do have the entire ballad side. Do you see yourself more of that full artist that's rock and ballad, or do you see yourself more as the rock person and you had to do some ballads? Like, how do you sort of see yourself? Do you like that softer side? Do you like the make time for love, and I can't even pronounce this, but Tunzen Mal Galeb, and because my German is perfect. But how do you see yourself? Do you
probably
see
good.
yourself as a big ballad type person, or is it just something that you sort of have to do?
Mitch, I think when you have a great song, it doesn't matter if it's fast or hardcore or if it's, totally melodic. And I think from the first record on, from our first record that was called Burning the Witches, we always had like one or two killer ballads on it. The Triumph and Agony album, which was my favorite Warlock album, it always had like, two ballads, like Für immer, the Deep Inside My Heart, Für immer. That was like actually the biggest hit, like All We Are and Für immer. That was like, yeah, we always played every single show since 1987, since we wrote it. So I think, I like it intense. I like it high energy, powerful, but I like it super, super emotional, heartfelt, and yeah, I love it all. Like the total extremes, from extremely hard to extremely, yeah, like sensitive and like, wow, to melt away, when you have a killer ballad which really can touch your heart and soul. There's nothing like it. Even playing that live, when you see in people's eyes, when they start like, to
When
almost
you mean
cry
when they're not
once they
sitting in
can,
their cars behind their windshields and you can't.
yeah,
um,
that's like
let me
that's a
quickly
different
ask you.
animal.
Yeah,
But I could even feel that. I could feel the intensity. I could feel the vibe. It was almost like a blind person. But your senses are stronger when you can't, hear
your
anybody.
spidey senses
It's
tingle like
yeah,
Spider-Man. Let me quickly ask you. You have of course done walking with the angels, I should say, with
yeah,
Tarja. She's another phenomenal singer that's maybe not
yeah.
as well known to North American markets, but of course she did what she did. Talk to me in terms of her as a singer and what it's like, because when you do a ballad and you have a female voice trading off with a male voice, that's one thing, and when of course you do stuff with Pete Steele and all these other people, but what was it like to have her in there and just sort of have two powerful female voices attacking this song together?
Yeah, I think yeah, Taya was one time the singer of Nightwish. It was very successful, and yeah, and we became friends. And then one time I had this beautiful song, Walking with the Angels, and I thought, man, it calls for another female voice. And at the same time, she was thinking of me, like doing another song she did. And yeah, and then we swapped songs. I sang on her album, and the song was called The Seer. And then I told her I have the song Walking with the Angels. I think it's perfect. I sent it to her and she said, oh, I love it. Let's do it. And we sang it live many times too. And it was beautiful because I had a little bit heavier voice and she has a more angelic voice. And I think it was, wow, it was perfect fit. So it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. If a song calls for something specific, that's great, and when people get excited about it, that's awesome. So she's definitely a phenomenal singer, super sweet. I love her, and we played many times together, and we know each other for I guess now 15 years, maybe even
Oh,
20
she's
years.
great.
So
She
mhm.
did. She did. I'm trying to think what song it was. She did a song with the Scorpions. I think it was the best to yet. Anyway, one of the Scorpion later day songs. And there's a version with just Klaus, and then there's a version with Klaus and her. And it's
Mhm.
just like, oh,
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
okay,
it's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know. She brings in that great texture. So let's talk about these rare treasures. Is that something that you want to do moving forward, is start going through the archives and start pulling out some of these songs that were either a b-side or a live version, or just for whatever reason didn't make an album, and just start getting stuff out? Because when Eddie Van Halen passed away, that one of the first things fans were saying were, ooh, I hope some unreleased Van Halen stuff comes out because we want to hear that stuff. So are you
Yeah.
sort of saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to start sharing my stuff too. Why not?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to record a new album, but because of like the difficult situation, I thought, yeah, I'm going through my archive and I want to do a best of, and I formed my own label. It's called Rare Diamonds Productions a couple of years ago, and I thought, yeah, let's do a best of. And then I thought maybe I will put my 15 favorite songs on it. And I went through my archives, and then it was 15, then 20, then 30, then 40 songs. And then I maxed out the CD capacity and the vinyl capacity, which usually you say on a CD, like 78 minutes. That's a good amount of time. Because everything else, the quality is not good. So 78 minutes, and yeah, and I thought, okay, I have like 3 CDs, so every CD is almost 78 minutes. And then I started with 15, but now it's 56 tracks, and I tell you, there's still not all the songs on which I want to put on because every song needed attention, like to remix it, to re-record stuff. Some live highlights that were awesome, but maybe there was a feedback or maybe there was a guitar out of tune. So every song, yeah, was like
Okay,
taking a lot
so
of
this is
time.
all remixed
Yeah.
and remastered then. So
Yes,
this is a fresh
all
coat of
remixed.
paint. Now,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
in 2013, you did that one song for me, which we put on the Kiss tribute and was for cancer, raised 35,000. I'm going to say it here. You can use that. Only you can use that whenever you want and do whatever you
Super.
want with it. And
Thank you, Mitch. Thank
and
you.
by the way, I
I
just
want
looked it
to.
up. It's Scorpions featuring Tarja doing "The Good Die Young." It's such a what? It's
Oh,
it's brilliant. Klaus and by the way, have you ever sung with? Not that has anything to do with it, but have you ever sung
mhm.
with Klaus? Yeah, you did. You did a show
Yes,
in Dusseldorf or
yes,
something, wasn't it?
yes. Actually, uh, Klaus came up, yeah, and he was part of my 25th anniversary.
Yes.
It was a big anniversary,
Yes.
and yeah, and Klaus and Rudolf Schenker came up, and we sang "Big City Nights" and "Rock Me Like a Hurricane," and it was awesome. And yeah, yeah. So we did a couple of times. We did something together, but the anniversary that meant the most to me. It was so awesome, and it
Yeah.
was great.
I
It's
remember,
on
and
this
if I'm not
DVD.
mistaken,
25 years in rock.
the
Mhm.
versions you did with Klaus and stuff are only on the video, but not on CD or
Yep.
something. So you need to fix that because I need to have
Yeah.
that. I need to have
you,
those.
you want
But
it played? Oh yeah, we will see that we can, yeah,
see
remix
that
it or master it. But the DVD is so nice to look at because you see everybody
I
rocking
know.
out, having a fantastic time.
I
So
know, but
yeah,
I can't put it into my iPhone and then plug it into my car's
yeah.
Bluetooth. I need to plug it into the car's Blue. But in
We'll
terms
take
of
care of it.
yeah, I hope so. In terms of the rare treasures, though, what was that like to go back and hear these songs? Because some of the players have changed, your voice has changed. We mature. What was it like to go back and listen to some of this older stuff and go, wow, listen to that. I need to get this out there for the fans. Nothing else matters. Of course, you're doing a Metallica song. What was the experience like for you to go back and listen to these tapes and go, yeah, this has to go on. I got to put this out. I got to fix this. We got to put a fresh coat of paint
Yeah,
on it.
I tell you, it was so great to go through all that. I would have never done it if we would be on tour all year round. So it was great, and it was great to, yeah, like great memories. For example, what we talked before, like with Lemmy, yeah, in the studio of Bob Kulick. Bob Kulick played on it. Eric Singer played drums on that song "Love Me Forever," and great memories. And Lemmy, he never wanted to sleep, so we spent like 2 3 weeks in the studio, and then we came out like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I said, okay, shall I drive you home now? He said, no, no. He said, just drive me wherever, let's go. And then I drove him all night, and actually he was singing, we were like always listening to CDs or radio. He was singing as loud as he can, with his white western boots, like right on the windshield, having a cigarette, drinking some whiskey. I didn't drink anything because I wanted to be, like I wanted to make sure Lemmy is safe. But we were driving every day and every night, and then we went straight back into the studio, and it was, I think, the best time in my life, and it was awesome. But Lemmy never wanted to sleep, and I never seen him sleep ever. It was like unbelievable. So these great memories, oh man, they're always in my heart. But when I listen to the songs, so many nice memories came back. Egypt, of course, is on there, like the great Ronnie James Dio. We toured many times together. I loved him so much too. So yeah, everything, like Pete Steele, that duet. The song is called Descent, and the record was never officially out in the States or in North America. So I think not many people know that. Maybe the diehard fans, you probably know it, and like the people who have everything and know everything. But I think regular rock fans, they probably don't even know these songs. Now or Never, that's a song where Slash played guitar. And so many great memories, and I'm sure many fans will discover so many
Yeah.
nice songs which we recorded once, but sometimes we have a set list and we have 2 hours to play live, and then some songs, they just like they almost get forgotten, and then yeah, and when you hear them again, oh, it's so nice. And it was a pure joy to do it, to do that record. There was no pressure, because a new record always has so much pressure. You want to have, of course, a great record. Every song should be a killer track. But here everything was almost there, and then I could just fiddle around, do the best I can. We re-recorded a couple of songs. For example, Love Me in Black. That was another fan favorite and one of my favorite songs. and we recorded it on this one drive-in show. That's the reason why you don't hear any audience. It is live, but no audience is heard. But it has magic. It's really beautiful, and that's another. I wouldn't call it ballad, but kind of ballad, which I think an awesome song. So, and the whole record was called "Love Me in Black." It came out in '98, but not in North America. So maybe people can even like get something what they might fall in love with and they never heard before.
By the way, I love the fact that "Love Me in Black" is described because I'm looking at the description now. It's all done with Jimmy Harry, and it's described as an industrial record. I was like, I don't think Doro made an industrial record. I think it's just like a hard heavy metal kind of record. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Not sure it's industrial, but okay. So "Love Me in Black" is that, and then of course there's "Beyond the Trees."
yeah,
Um,
that's re-recorded as well.
and we'll wrap up on this here. But has there ever been a thought of you going back and picking out some 10 or 20 songs and start re-recording them and making them 2020 versions or 2021 versions? I mean, I know you've done this, and you did the Only You for me in 2013, but is that something that interests you to revisit some of the past and start doing that, or do you really want to focus, other than this package, focus on just no? I want to make new music. I don't want to go back and do für E. I can't speak German. Let's not kid ourselves. You know,
Do it perfect. Yeah, I think a new record, or like looking ahead, I think that's more what I want to do. But I found some great demos from 83, 84, 85, and eventually I would like to put out a little collection with like only real, yeah, the first demos of my first bands. But I don't even know where these people are anymore. Some gave up music, so I want to first clear rights. But that would be something nice to have some old demos which actually sound great. I don't even know what we did, who did it, but it definitely sounds very nice. Songs very nice. So something like this, I think for diehard fans would be interesting. But re-recording, yeah, older songs, I don't know. I think there was always a time for doing that, but I definitely want to concentrate on a new record. And we're already working on a new record, so I hope next year something new will come out, and yeah, and hopefully then we can tour behind it. But
hopefully,
yeah,
and
hopefully.
and hopefully you'll give Tommy Henriksen a call and start working some of that old Warlock Triumph and Agony magic, and of course,
Yeah, Tommy Bowen, my guitar player of the Triumph and Agony, he's definitely on board. He will play something, or some shredding guitar solos, which he loves doing that. And Tommy Henriksen, who's now the guitar player in Alice Cooper.
yeah.
I just met him a while ago, so it was great to reconnect with all these great guys. And one time Frank Ferrer, the drummer of Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, he was with you
in '95. Yeah, because Johnny, he was like, he got married and he couldn't do the tour, so Frank was filling in, and he was such a great drummer too. So it's great to reconnect with all these great musicians. I love it, and
I think Frank at the time was like the drummer for the Psychedelic Furs. So all of a sudden you had like the Psychedelic Fur drummer with you, but. A lot of great guys, a lot of great memories. The package is just terrific. I mean, it's an absolute great package. It does come out mid-November. If you haven't had a chance to hear it, do go get it.
Yeah, and there's some special editions. One is the vinyl box, so there are 2 double vinyl. And the Rare Treasure is like a little CD. And then there's a special box. It has perfume. So if you guys like perfume, there's one for male, one for female, and it's called True at Heart. That's the limited edition. And it's some special stuff for people who want to have special box sets and stuff. And it smells heavenly. So if you're into it, but if not, you can always put the little bottle, in your collection. It looks really sweet.
Listen, I love those kind of box sets, and that's what I think that's what you need to do. You need to have that packaging. Speaking of the Scorpions, they just did a box set for Wind of Change, and it comes with a piece of the Berlin Wall in it. And I mean, wow. I don't need you think about it. I don't need a piece of concrete in my house, but I bought it because it's just different. It's kind of cool.
it is cool, and I just got the Ace of Spades box set, and man, I love it. It's so cool. It's so very well done. So I'm a big collector of box sets, vinyl, and then I always want to put some box sets. Yeah, of course, like our records always will have box sets or vinyl editions. So that's that goes without saying.
I'll end on this, but they always say, well, people are streaming, they're not buying, and well, yeah, but one of the reasons is that, especially in the early 2000s, buying became so uninteresting. You went from 8-page booklets to like a one-page insert, and it just became cheap and cheesy. But if you give them Magic Diamonds, if you give them Ace of Spades, if you give, and you don't charge $800 like Guns N' Roses do. You charge, UFOs doing Strangers in the Night, 8 CDs. It's $49.
Wow.
I'm in.
Nice. Yeah, nice. And,
so you have to do that. You have to give them a little. So you get the perfume with you. You get the. Yes, I'll buy that because it's fun. Otherwise,
you get a poster and a scarf and everything. Everything comes with it. I just wanted to mention the perfume, but there's definitely some special stuff, and I like that too.
You got to give people stuff, and you got to give it to them at a fair price, fair for you and fair for the fair for both people. And
I always do everything for the fans. I never took anything for myself.
I agree. Yourself, UFO, a lot of very, very, very fan friendly. Very fan friendly.
Yes.
Always have been.
I love the fans, Mitch. That's the only real reason why I'm still alive, why I could survive, and it's my main motivation, inspiration, my true love. It really is.
There we go. And as always, as we say in Montreal, merci beaucoup. Always a pleasure. Let's do this anytime. And
thank you so much, Mitch.
Continued
thank you very
success.
much for having me. Yes, thank you. And I want to say hi to all the great fans, and I hope to see them very soon on tour or on festivals, and I wish everybody the best. Stay healthy, stay metal, and I love you.
Yes, and folks, go out, support Doro, buy Magic Diamond's Best of Rock Ballads and Rare Treasures. Yes, we all appreciate the streaming, but there is something about owning something that you can look at, you can stare, you can touch, you can feel. You can even wear, and in this case with the perfume, you can even wear it. So so go buy it, and there we go. Merci.
Merci. Thank you so much. Dankeschön, Mitch. Always great to talk to you, and all the best to you and to all the people out there. And talk very soon.
Yes, bye now. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Merci. Bye bye.
Thank you. Merci. Ciao.